Coming here had nothing to do with me. My dad found his way here through a system called employment vouchers in 1963. And then he called me over in 65 before the rest of the family because he wanted me to start school, which the school leaving age at that time was 15. As it happened, I couldn't get here within that time scale, so I was a couple of months late. So I arrived, and it was quite an eventful journey for me, who had never really been much further from Jalandhar in growing up. It was my first time to Delhi. And then the day I was supposed to be coming here, I'd never been anywhere near an aeroplane or an airport, there was a strike. So I ended up stranded in Delhi for a day or so. And then they put me on a plane the next day. So I arrived in what was Heathrow at the time with very little English. And of course, since in those days there were no telephones, no telegram, I wasn't even clear that there'd be anybody to pick me up because I was supposed to be coming the day after. But my dad had basically decided to go to the airport anyway the following day. So he ended up there, and yet at the airport, because there was nobody to receive me, they just put me in a corner saying, well, if nobody comes to meet you, then might have to send you back. Bemused by the whole thing, it's a totally alien experience. I had very little understanding of what was going on, but just overwhelmed by it all. But it was. I was very naive, very little awareness of kind of a Western developed country culture. Really, it was essentially home to really staying around home and going to the market maybe whenever, but very little else to do because I wasn't familiar with anything else until life became a bit more structured when I started going to college. Then it was home to college, back, and then weekends with family and some friends, go with dad, there was always somebody coming and going, but it was all either college, home, or family. There was really no other structure to the bringing in. Obviously, whatever else I picked up being at college, started playing a bit, sport and that kind of thing. But that's about it. There's very little of anything else in life in those days. Well, it was easy in the sense that I don't think I made very many English friends. For one thing, I was at a further education college, and there weren't that many English people doing O-levels and A-levels because most of them were still doing them at sixth form in their schools. But there were about a handful of maybe 5 or 6 other Asian kids around who were my first point of contact. And also being a further education college, there wasn't that much desire for people to study, really. There were most of the kids in that college were sort of apprentices who were doing part-time city and guilds type of stuff, or H&C, H&D, those kind of courses, or OND, it'll be OND, ONC. So really it was kind of, although I was here, but I wasn't quite here either. And also, because I was hanging around with mostly Asian kids, my conversational English was still next to non-existent. Because we managed to get by without. But even so, it was an interesting time. But because the more you were here, the more you felt, you understood the system, and you were able to help others who were even further back in that kind of journey.